So today I went to X-Men Gym in Old Quarter, Hanoi. For anybody that hasn't been to Hanoi yet, Old Quarter is kind of a little bit of a touristy backpacker area, a lot of people hanging out and drinking. However, they do have a very, very budget-friendly gym. And so today I went ahead and did some arms day. I'm gonna go ahead and do a review. The review is gonna be based on facilities, equipment, atmosphere, logistics, and price. As far as facilities go, sounds like I'm being a little bit mean, but I'm gonna give it a D. You'll see in the photos, but basically it's kind of a little bit rougher. Everything in there looks a little bit older. Doesn't look like it's super well maintained. You're gonna kind of see that a little bit in Hanoi in general and Old Quarter specifically, that the level of maintenance and care and longevity into a lot of things is just not very good. And this gym pretty much reflects that. So unlike the opposite of like my other video on MVP where everything was like pretty new and pretty nice, in this case, things are a little more worn in. One of the positive aspects it did have was because it's on the 4th floor, it had a lot of windows and natural lighting, so it had a lot of fresh air. You didn't feel like claustrophobic, like you were stuck in some kind of a basement. But also, it didn't actually have a locker room. It had a single changing room and a bunch of lockers out on the main floor of the gym. And then it had a kind of a little separate area where there was a bathroom, and technically there was a shower stall. I guess if you really badly needed to take a shower, you could lock the door to the whole bathroom and go in, clean yourself up. But of course the locker is on the other side of the gym, so have to work out the details as far as logistics. For me, it's not really a big deal. When I go to the locker, when I go to a gym, I just use the locker room to just put all my stuff away directly. I'm not taking showers or doing a lot of really heavy changing. So for me, that doesn't really bother me, but in general, the facilities are decidedly not very nice. As far as the equipment goes, I'm gonna give them a C. The equipment is older. They pretty much only had one of everything, except for they had 3 benches for some reason. The machine selection was actually like pretty decent, but also again, they only had one of everything. As far as the marked dumbbells go, they only went up to 32 kilograms. And there was another unmarked mystery dumbbell that when I picked it up, I think it was somewhere around 45 kg maybe. So as far as atmosphere goes, this was definitely not a meathead gym. Most of the other folks there were sort of younger backpack age foreigners, which is good. I'm glad to see them, getting their workout out on the road between drinking sessions. And then there were a lot of old Vietnamese guys doing very awkward hip thrusting movements on basically every piece of equipment they could find. Overall, not too bad, which is why they're getting a C. Logistics-wise, not a whole lot to say. Bring cash to pay your tab. And one bonus why I'm giving them a B instead of a C is right at the front desk, they had a little pile where they had, there's a little container where you could pick up a free lock and use it and just bring it back, which I thought was super thoughtful, which if anything tells me a little bit about the gym in general, which is you have to work with what you have. You can't make everything super nice all the time, but sometimes it's like the little things that go a long way. And so I definitely thought that by just seeing that they had like a little extra thing for you to get locked, just to make that one little part just a little bit easier. And finally, and most importantly, the biggest perk to this place is the price. It is 450,000 Vietnamese dong for 1 month, which is $17. $17 a month, which is a huge competitive value increase versus MVP, which, as I reviewed yesterday, is $190 for a month for really the same level of equipment, and it's just slightly nicer. And then you get extra things that I don't use, like saunas and access to cardio classes, which somebody like me is never really going to use anyway. And if you're traveling and you're thinking about where am I going to go to the gym while I'm traveling, you're probably not getting in a lot of fitness classes anyway. You probably already know how to work out, and you're just trying to not skip that part of your life. So final verdict, generally the facilities and the equipment, pretty rough, pretty old, but that price, very, very hard to beat. So if you are somebody who is very price sensitive and you just want to go somewhere, you want to get your workout in, you don't want to spend too much money, you don't want to hang out there, you just want to lift and move on with your day, this is a good option. I'm going to go ahead and give it a C+. So just because of value proposition, generally speaking, this isn't my pick for where I want to spend every day going to the gym. But if you are a backpacker, you're traveling on a budget, this is definitely a great option. If you want to see my review of MVP Fitness, then go ahead and look in the description. There's a link, and that'll give you another angle of another gym option here in Hanoi. Also, if you want to know my personal pick for my favorite gym chain in Hanoi, then go ahead and click the video that's right there. We'll see you over there.